If you believe that you're experiencing behavior that is either harassing or bullying, you should report it. Now, before you report it, and only if you feel you can, it's often a good idea to try and object to the behavior, to let the person know that their behavior is unwelcome. In healthy workplaces, we can have those conversations. We can say that something that somebody's done or said, or a text they've sent us, or a display they're showing is offensive to us, and we can ask them to stop. In that healthy workplace, the person is going to be grateful that we were willing to come to them and bring it to their attention. And they might even thank us for being willing to do so, apologize for the behavior, and the matter is resolved. If you do object and you're met with defensiveness or anger, or if you can't object because you don't feel you have the skills, or because the person who's harassing or bullying you is in a position of power, you do not have to object. In that case, you would report the conduct to a supervisor, a manager, or a designated HR person if your workplace has one. That individual will then be obligated to respond. What happens when you report? Well, the first thing that's done is that there's a consideration as to whether or not the behavior, if you're accurately reporting it, would violate a policy. If the answer is no, there's probably going to be some coaching for the person whose behavior is an issue. They'll be spoken to. It'll be discussed with them. They'll be cautioned against such behavior in the future. If it is determined that if the behavior is happening, it would violate a policy, there will be an investigation. You will be spoken to, individuals who may have witnessed the conduct will be spoken to, and the person whose behavior is an issue will be spoken to. An evaluation will be made as to what the facts are. And if it's found that the individual is engaged in conduct that violates policy, they could be disciplined up to and including termination. And you'll be protected from reprisal. If you're a supervisor or a manager and somebody comes to you with a complaint, even if they ask you to keep it confidential, you must bring that complaint forward. You must get it into the hands of someone who's in a position to do that evaluation and ultimately to conduct an investigation. You don't necessarily have to do that yourself, and sometimes it's better not to. But if you don't bring that information forward, you could be found legally liable for failing to address unlawful harassment or bullying. Once an investigation is completed, an employer also has an obligation to make sure that reprisal or retaliation doesn't happen, either to the individual who reported the harassment or to anyone who was a witness in an investigation. And these protections apply whether or not the ultimate finding in the investigation is that a policy was violated.